UFC Des Moines is right around the corner, just 2 days away from fight night. We're going to be breaking down Bo Nickal's last fight against Paul Craig. Paul Craig was definitely a big step up in competition for Bo Nickal. Uh, Craig hasn't had the best last few fights. He's kind of on a skid right now. A lot of people figured out if they can stay away from his dangerous jiu-jitsu on his back that they would mainly be safe. So he's kind of run into some issues here as of late. And regardless, he was still the highest level opponent that Bo had faced to his career. So it was still a very big step up in competition, which Bo ultimately did very well. But we're just kind of going to break down some of the stuff that Bo did really well in this fight and where I think he might get into a little bit of trouble against De Ridder. Again, people kind of treated Paul Craig as the middleweight version of Charles Oliveira. No one wanted to get in this guy's guard. He fucked up Jamal Hill's arm, dislocated or broke his elbow. He has put his triangle is very, very sneaky, very quick. He'll kind of bait you landing some heavy ground and pound shots. Like he'll eat a few to set his triangle up. He sets it up off of that specifically. But we've kind of seen Bo since he got into the UFC. He's been very vocal about, oh, I'm gonna be a striker. I don't want to have to. Everyone knows I'm a good wrestler. But I'm a natural striker, and I'm gonna continue to prove that. I just don't think that you can make that claim quite yet if you're Bo Nickal. He's very athletic. I think that goes a long way. But saying you're a natural striker after being a wrestler for your entire life is a little bit of a weird statement to make, especially when you're throwing overhand rights like that. Let's just take a look at this overhand right that comes from downtown. Boom! You're not going to hit anybody with that. I mean, you saw that thing coming from a fucking mile away. I mean, that's crazy to say you're a natural striker and to be throwing overhand rights like that. If that would have landed on Paul Craig, he would have hit him with his palm. But again, he's athletic, so he does naturally very well. He does a few things very well naturally, right? He switches stances very fluidly, which a lot of people that aren't very athletic, you see them tend to not do very well, or it looks a little clunky. Whereas his stance switches are pretty organic. He's not going to force a stance switch. It's not like every time you see him move to southpaw or move to orthodox that you can expect a rear leg kick, or he's not giving any reads like that. So in a certain aspect, sure, he's a natural as far as athletic, and his footwork is good, and he's got a really good foundation, but he's got a long way to go still. Almost eats a knee there as he comes in for the overhand right. And we've seen with most of Bo's opponents, at least the first few that he's had, they're really trying to manage distance against him. They know the caliber of wrestler that Bo is. They don't want to be taken down by Bo. His submission skills are a lot more of a threat than his striking skills. I know he knocked out his I think it was his first opponent in the UFC, the guy that came in on short notice. So he's knocked people out, but people are more, his opponents are definitely aware of the threat of wrestling. So that 100% makes people a little bit scared to get going against Bo. Makes them a little hesitant to let their hands go. They know if they overextend, if they tag him up once or twice, chances are he's going to shoot a takedown. And if Bo Nickal shoots a takedown on you, there's a high chance it's going to finish. I mean, we've seen him struggle to get like Cody Brundage down, which was shocking, but Brundage is also a wrestler. He has a wrestling background. Do I think that an NCAA wrestling phenom necessarily translates well into like MMA wrestling? Not necessarily, but you would think that if he gets a high crotch or up against the fence with his hands locked, you would expect him to be able to finish against a takedown against an unranked opponent in Cody Brundage, which he struggled to do. So Paul Craig, coming off of some losses, he's a little hesitant to let things go, which is why I think in this first round we didn't get a lot from him. He's feigning a lot of leg kicks, throwing a lot of inside low leg kicks, outside low leg kicks, but nothing substantial. Bo's kind of thrown more of the substantial strikes in the first round. I don't really agree that Craig's had 15 substantial strikes, but most of his being leg kicks. But you see that right there. I mean, people have to respect the takedown. And so this little feint he does at the end of this round, switches to southpaw, just shows him. Little ankle pick, little knee tap. Oop. Paul Craig immediately retreats back, getting ready to have to sprawl if possible. So it's very much in Paul Craig's mind. Like, I don't want to get taken down. Paul Craig's a big dude. Big dude. I think a lot of people are expecting a lot from Bo Nickal, even though this is about to be his 8th fight. This one here is his 7th. A lot of people are expecting this guy to be just some world-class MMA fighter. Like, he's a world-class wrestler, but he's only got seven pro fights. Like, he's still very new. And most people that are 7-0 that come into the UFC don't have the type of expectations that people have for him. But it's because of his pedigree and his background in wrestling that people have this unrealistic expectation that he's supposed to be, you know, an extremely well-rounded fighter at this point in his career. Like, he's still super young. He's only been in MMA for like 3 years. So, do I think that he's a great striker now? Absolutely not. He's got a lot of work to do. But by the time he's 10-0, 11-0, you know, we're probably not going to see great striking out of him. That's a skill that he obviously clearly needs to develop. So, and he knows it. Like, if you watch his vlogs, he's working on striking and verbal about the fact that he wants to get better. Tags Paul Craig with a nice overhand there. This is the same 1-2 from southpaw. Switches from southpaw to orthodox. Same 1-2 that he threw in the first round with an overhand right. But this overhand right wasn't from fucking half court. This one, he threw a jab out that was actually in range, and then came over with a technical overhand right instead of an overhand that came from his fucking back pocket. So that overhand looked miles better than the first one. But it's inconsistent. He has these spurts of promise with his striking, but nothing substantial. And Paul Craig really just kind of seems to be asleep at the wheel here. Not not really taking any risks. He's down 1000% in the first round. In my opinion, clearly losing the second round. And not really changing his approach much. He's still kind of feinting his hips, different low kicks, but he's waiting. He's not going first. I think we could see Bo get in a little bit of trouble with DeRitter if he goes first. DeRitter. Craig is usually never the instigating party in this fight other than leg kicks, which he's just throwing one and no combos off of. So I could see that Bo Nickal gets in a little bit of trouble in the DeRitter fight if DeRitter goes first. Most of Bo Nickal's fights that he's had in the UFC aren't against like super talented strikers, and he hasn't been put in a position where he's had the pressure really put on him. And a lot of that does have to do with the fact that people are so cognizant of the threat in takedowns against him. If they start putting crazy pressure on him, chances are he's gonna want to take the pace away from them, slow the pace down, wrestle him, make him tired, inflict his game, right? So DeRitter is got to kind of toe that line of being the first one, but not putting so much pressure on Bo that Bo is backed into a corner and shoots takedowns. But DeRitter's got really good defense on the ground, and he's got really good submission defense or offense. Probably better than Bo's. I think it's a possibility that we see Bo Nickal get submitted. Hot take. Possibility. Probably not a very high possibility, but I see this fight going to a decision or DeRitter submitting him. Those are kind of the only two ways I see this fight going. If I was a betting man, I would say it's going to be Bo by decision. I don't think he's going to knock DeRitter out. But there's also the potential of DeRitter maybe submitting him. The crazy thing with Bo Nickal and prospects like Bo Nickal is that we've never seen his chin tested. Truly, we've never seen it. And so now we're left wondering, if he gets caught, is he going to be able to recover? Are his defenses on the ground if he's against someone that could easily submit him or has submission threats? Is he going to have his wherewithal to stay smart and safe? We don't know any of these questions yet. We've never seen him in deep, deep trouble in the UFC. I hope we get to see that. I'm not a Bo Nickal hater. I hope he continues to win. He's a great prospect. I think he's going to continue to develop. He might not have the most exciting fights, but he's got a couple finishes, and again, people just put a lot of pressure and expectations on him. But going into round 3 here, it's a lot of the same story. Bo is really the only threat that he's under is just the leg kicks. His front leg has been chewed up a little bit. He's eaten a couple body shots, but he's not really getting much from Craig. Craig's game plan hasn't changed. He's throwing one punch at a time, little jab, step off to the side. The two's not there, so he's not throwing it. One leg kick, nothing behind it. No threat of a takedown. No nothing. After 2 rounds, Paul Craig has continued to sit in front of Bo Nickal and let Bo Nickal outpoint him, which goes to speak about how bad of a striker Paul Craig is after all of his time in the UFC, because he relied so much on his jiu-jitsu, so much. And I don't think that's the story with Bo. I think Bo is taking his development really seriously. He wants to be a world champ badly. He's very driven. I think he's going to work and has worked in his camps and in training on things that he has holes in his game and knows that. So I think, unlike Paul Craig, that probably knew his striking was shit his whole career and did nothing seemingly about it in the training room, Bo, I would assume, is taking things much more serious. So if I was a betting man, we're going to continue to see Bo Nickal improve in his striking. So that's exciting. I don't get the hate. I don't get it. I know he's kind of like a square. Not everyone, he's like super straight edge, and that's not everyone's cup of tea. Not saying it's necessarily mine, but I don't really get the hate on him. See, and here, like, Bo got him pinned up against the fence, right? I mean, what, did we just sit here for 15 seconds with Bo Nickal having Paul Craig right against the fence? Nothing. No takedowns. No nothing. Just, like, if he does this against DeRitter, he's going to be in trouble. He is. Paul Craig knows he's getting outstruck at this point. And he's just sitting on the fence waiting for something from Bo Nickal, and Bo Nickal didn't capitalize. He had him in a really bad spot right there and didn't capitalize on it. I think Bo is a little bit over concerned with how his striking looks to the masses, to where his whole game plan is developed around it, and he doesn't play to his strong suits. Like, I understand that you're trying to show us UFC fans that you're not a shit striker, and you haven't convinced us yet, but I don't understand why he just completely negates and just forgets about the fact that he's a fucking elite wrestler. Like, he said he wants to stand and bang with DeRitter, and he doesn't want to wrestle. It's like, you're not proving a point to anybody. Like, show you're a well-rounded mixed martial artist. Do well on the feet when it's on the ground, when it's on the feet, and then when it goes to the ground, which it should in a mixed martial art fight, especially against two guys that aren't like the highest level strikers, do well there. That's how MMA fans will give you your props, is if you show that you're well-rounded, not these fucking boring 15-minute point fights, not doing what you're good at. Sure, show us some striking, keep the fight on the feet, but it is MMA. Got to mix it up. Got to show different facets of your game. Rocks Paul Craig. Most exciting. Don't you just love that? We have a 15-minute fight, and these two jackasses wait until the last 10 seconds of the fight to make anything entertaining. Rocks Paul Craig with a left hand here. Another left hand. And it's like, why are we not trying to finish the fight? And why don't we have that intensity for the first 15 minutes of the fight? I get he wants the experience, but if he does what he did against Paul Craig and pussyfoots around, I don't think that he's going to have a good night at the office. But that's Bo Nickal's last fight. It's going to be very interesting to see how he handles DeRitter. It's going to be a fun matchup stylistically. But tomorrow, I'll release the last fight that Corey Sandhagen had against Umar. We'll break that down and kind of talk about Sandhagen's path to victory and hopefully him not choking another elite level match. So thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.